A long time ago, there exists a small village in the countryside in the kingdom of Siam. The village is called Kongkeo, which means pearly river. The village is quite small. A few number of houses and shops line up beside the only road to the village. At the center of the village is a temple. Most people who live here either work as farmers or fishermen. The village may not have much, but the villagers here live in peace, harmony, and happiness. There's a young boy wandering around full of curiosity and imagination. His name is Gon, and it's his daily routine to explore around the village looking for any curiosities to discover. One day, he noticed a shiny watch laying beside the road. Gon thought someone must have dropped it, so he keeps it in his pocket. Upon reaching his home, Gon goes into his room and hides the watch at a secret spot. When his parents isn't around, Gon would take out the watch and admire it. Soon, Gon falls in love with the watch and wants to keep it. Soon, the news of the missing watch spread around the village. It turns out the watch belongs to Mr. Tom. He is the richest man in the village. It is said the watch had been in his family for many generations and thus greatly treasured by him. The news reached Gon, who soon grew worried that he might lose the watch. He hoped by keeping it a secret, it soon shall pass and everyone forgets about the watch, and thus he can keep the watch. As time goes on, Gon grew more agitated and worried about the watch, so he brings it everywhere he goes. One day, while he was working at the farm, his friend Kun comes to visit him. He said, "Gon, it's been a while. Wanna go out fishing later?" But Gon declined the invitation. Kun noticed that Gon is acting different from his normal self. Instead of his cheerful and talkative self, he noticed Gon become agitated and quiet. Kun then asked, "You seem different today. Is everything alright?" Kun noticed something shiny in Gon's pocket. He asked, "Gon, what is that?" Gon's heart sank upon hearing that, as he knew his secret had been blown. Shakily, Gon brought out the watch to show to Kun, who is very surprised and asked, "Gon, is that Mr. Tom's watch? Where did you find it? What's going on?" Gon brought Kun to sit under a tree and proceeded to tell him what happened and how he wished to keep the watch and the struggles he is feeling now. Kun then said, "We should go ask for advice from Master Boon. He will know what to do." The boys proceeded to the village temple where Master Boon resides. Kun proceeded to tell Master Boon everything. Throughout this time, Gon feels guilty and shame. Master Boon listens and reflects on everything said. Then he says, "Child, the notion where you want to keep the watch would be stealing. There will be consequences if you steal. You should not take anything that is not presented to you. The watch is old to be returned to its rightful owner. Do not steal anything, and you'll be in peace and guilt-free." Master Boon then proceeded, "Mr. Tom is a kind and understanding man. Return this watch to him and tell him everything. He will understand and forgive." The boys then proceeds to Mr. Tom's mansion. Upon reaching Mr. Tom's mansion, Kun knocks on the door. Shortly afterwards, Mr. Tom opens the door and leads them to the living room. Afterwards, Gon speaks. Mr. Tom I believe I have something that is important to you." He brought out the watch for Mr. Thomas, who is completely surprised, saying, "My watch! Where did you find it?" Gon tells him everything from where he found it and how he thought of keeping the watch. Mr. Tom listens to everything Gon said until the end and sat quietly for a while. Gon felt worried that Mr. Tom might get angry and scold him for trying to keep the watch. Instead, Mr. Tom smiled warmly and said, "Boy, it's my family heirloom piece, and I was so worried that it might be gone forever. I very much appreciate your honesty and returning it to me, even if you had thought of keeping it before this. If it was someone else with no morals, they would have just take and sell it. But I'm relieved that it did not fall into such hand. Here, as a reward for finding the watch, let me give it to you." Mr. Tom brings out his wallet and hand over quite a large sum of money to Gon, saying, "Here, take it, spend it wisely." Gon felt a huge sense of relief and joy, as if a big rock on his back is gone. The boys then leave Mrs. Tom's mansion after saying goodbye. When walking back to their homes, Kun said, "Hey, I should leave now. I think my mom finished making dinner already." "You should go back home too. Let's go out fishing someday." And he left. As Gon strolled back home, he thinks what had happened before this, from how wanting to keep the watch brings great burden to him, to the events unfolded earlier that day. Reflecting on Master Boon's words, Gon strive not to steal anything ever again and be more mindful on having such attachments to things and just be content with what he has. Agreeing on that, he felt a sense of joy and peace. As he walks back home, he now has a new resolve in life that he fully intends to keep on forever. The end.